Right now, the risk of terrorism inside the U.S. is high. That is the warning coming from the Department of Homeland Security in their latest threat assessment, and it's not good. The annual DHS report laid out the biggest threats to American safety and security, highlighting factors like the upcoming election and the rising tensions in the Middle East. Officials suggest the threat level could peak during election season, with additional risks for Muslim and Jewish communities as we approach 1 year since the October 7th attack on Israel, and also the start of Rosh Hashanah. DHS now warning that violent extremists could be planning to act soon. Charles Marino is here now, former DHS senior advisor and author of Terrorists on the Border and in Our Country. How significant is this threat level assessment right now? I know it fluctuates. Is this much higher than concerned, and how does it compare to recent elections?
Good morning, Marni. Well, it's been high for quite some time based on international events and our own domestic environment here with an open southwest border for the past 3.5 years. So certainly we've been at a heightened level. What we're not seeing here as part of this warning coming out of DHS and the FBI is a formal rising of the level to elevated or imminent under the National Terrorism Advisory System. I helped usher in this system when we did away with the color-coded threat system under DHS. There are 2 levels under the National Terrorism Advisory System, elevated and imminent, and both require specific and credible intelligence of an impending attack here in the United States. So the fact that we're not seeing that is good. However, with world events the way they are, especially including against adversaries like Iran and Russia, who both participate in both kinetic and cyber situations and events around the world, including possibly here in the United States. It's a grave concern right now.
I think about a secure election. I think about being cut off from the power grid, the water grid we're seeing in the South because of the storm, and how great of an impact that has. What are the greatest vulnerabilities in the U.S. right now from a threat?
Well, we face more threats from more places at any time. And these are robust threats, Marni, that are extremely diverse. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you talk about a cyber event, for example, that could knock critical infrastructure offline and bring the country to its knees. Or we can have a traditional terrorist incident here in the country based on the fact that we have not been buttoned up the way we should have been here in the homeland. And I think that last part that I pointed out is what's keeping law enforcement and intelligence officials, at least my former colleagues that I speak with, up at night, because they know we haven't been doing everything the right thing to keep the homeland safe and secure right now. We've got 15 to 20 million people in the country that cannot be thoroughly vetted. We have no idea who they are ultimately, and that's a grave concern. We know that the terrorist watch list has been a point of contention here where suspects have been discovered to have made entry into the country, and these are the things that should not be happening. These are the stopgap measures here that no matter what's going on around the rest of the world, we need to be strong beginning at our own borders.
And there's nothing worse than feeling helpless as Americans to protect ourselves from a threat. Is there anything everyday Americans can do right now?
Well, I preach to my own family that increased vigilance is the way to go. Understand your surroundings, understand world events, what's going on in the world. A lot of people have their heads buried in their phones and they're not paying attention to what's going on around the world, nonetheless, what's going on here in the United States. So be aware of what's going on. Understand that we are at this heightened threat environment. It's very real. We've got some significant events coming up here in the country, as you pointed out, like the upcoming election, that could draw some attention from our adversaries. And remember, too, places like Iran and Russia are known to use and work with proxies such as Hamas, Hezbollah. Russia is very well known working with proxy groups to conduct cyber attacks against the United States. So know that while we may not be able to point the finger directly back at a state actor like Iran or Russia, their proxies are out and about thinking about ways to hit the United States.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.